It's just about getting going. You'll make mistakes in the beginning, and I make tons of mistakes. I make them daily, but I know that once I make those mistakes, my goal is not to make them again. And then I continue to build from there. And the next thing you know, you have a finished and polished product that people that now come to see it, they're like, oh, this is good, because you had a chance to figure out what was working and what wasn't working.
All right. Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is Roy Ooh-wee, and welcome to episode 005 of Breaking Down Business. On today's episode, we have Gideon Akande. He is a two-time Chicago Golden Glove champion and the national winner of the Men's Health Next Top Trainer competition featured on GQ, Propel, Pop Sugar, and you've probably done a workout with them on NordicTrack or iFit. Please welcome Mr. Gideon. Woo!
What's up, Roy? Appreciate the introduction.
When I was putting that together, I was like, I am so blessed to have him on my show. We're gonna jump right into it. Gideon, give us a background about yourself and like how you got started in this industry.
Gideon Akande is my name. Born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. And in high school, I was very active in sports. I ran track, I played football, I wrestled, I did all of that stuff. And I received a Division I football scholarship to play at College of the Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts. So graduated from political science with a political science degree, came back to Chicago, worked in sales, and I did that for 4.5 years before I realized that is not my passion and that's not what I wanted to do.
I was going to say, are we talking like corporate sales, like 9 to 5?
We're talking about sitting behind the desk, making the cold calls, jumping into your car, dealing with brokers in your specific region, managing a business, selling new business, the whole thing. So like it was more than 9 to 5. It was closer to 7 to 6. So yeah, it was a hustle, it was a grind, but I learned a lot during that time period. Everything in life has a lesson, that's for sure.
So where does fitness come into play? Obviously outside of like your background.
Yeah, so when fitness comes into play because it's something that I absolutely love. I love sports, I love competition, I love working out, I love exercise, and I also love the fact that I can share that same joy with others. Meaning that if I'm teaching them and if I'm showing them that they have the ability to do things that they never thought they could, or to feel a way that they never thought they could feel or have felt, it really brings me joy to know that I can bring out those sensations in them and have them overcome some fears or some anxieties and have them build up their confidence and just take their life back into their own hands. So when I found out that I had that gift and that I also had that passion, it was a no-brainer for me to make the transition from that whole sales situation into fitness.
Oh, is that like a cold turkey? Like, guys, I'm going straight into...
Hey, let's be honest. Like we all don't want to find ourselves in a situation where you have $0 in a bank account and you have no idea what's going to happen next, right? Although you may be chasing your passion or doing what you think you're set out to do. So we all have those concerns of being able to maintain our lifestyle to the degree that we want to live it, right? So let me be clear. Making the transition was a challenge, was a struggle, yes, but I tried to do so in the most calculated way possible. I'm all about risk management, especially after working in a sales background in the insurance field. It's all about risk management, right? So my whole situation was, hey, I have a steady paycheck coming in with sales, right? I know that I can generate some type of income and sustain myself that way. But I also know that I want to transition out of this. So the way I did that is, again, I told you that the sales situation was like 7 to 6 p.m. I would find a way to the gym and work from 5 to 6:30 in the morning, crack of dawn, building my business. I would leave, go to my sales job, work that from 7 to 6 or so. I would come back to the gym from 6:30, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. when it closed and build my personal training business again. So I was like, hey, if I'm going to make this work, I have to find a way to not only stack up in case of worst case scenario, but I also need to make sure that I am also transitioning as quickly as possible so that there's very little lag in income so that I can feel comfortable with this transition and I'm able to maintain the livelihood that I'm used to and that I want for myself. So it was a grind. It was a hustle. You just got to do it. You got to find a way to do
it. You just went above and beyond the word of hustle, guys. So we all have 24 hours in a day. Gideon went above and beyond, guys. So no excuses here. This guy is a workhorse. Crazy.
Let me say this to you, Roy. Let me say
absolutely.
especially in the beginning when you're putting
Yes.
your head down and you're doing all the things and you're finding ways just to support yourself and to sustain your business, you just have to. But at the end of the day, that's not sustainable. So let me be clear. I understood and I figured out that, all right, this is where I want my business to be. Fine tune it, tweak it, streamline the process so it's not so jumbled and so hectic. And then once you get to a place of kind of just a natural flow and things are starting to kind of go your way, it'll never
Yeah.
be perfect. But once you feel like it's starting to go your way, then you got to find that work life balance. Because believe it or not, there were moments where I was running myself into the ground because I thought I was just hustling. And hustling is great, it's a great attitude to have, but you
Yep.
can't also over hustle. That's what they call hustling backwards, right?
Yeah.
You're working so hard, but you're setting yourself back. So having that balance between life and work and play and everything else that goes along with it, it's something that I'm still learning to do. It's something that my wife teaches me about every single day, and it's something that I had to deal with very early on in my career when transitioning into fitness, for sure.
Which actually goes great into, because I was going to ask you, my next question to you is, what is your current workday like?
Monday through Sunday can look very, very different. I have many hats and I just switch them as needed. And there is no such thing as a normal day, at least with what I do. Right. So I left the career where there was a little bit more structure in terms of what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what it looks like. But
Yeah.
now in my business, I've developed several revenue streams. First and foremost, I'm a personal trainer. So I'm working one on one with clients. I'm also a group fitness instructor, so I'm teaching classes in that format. It's similar, but also very different. I also
Right.
have my own app, which I launched earlier this year. So I'm streaming live workouts and I'm also hosting and posting on demand workouts, in addition to responding to clients, helping them with their fitness goals, and cultivating a community around that. I also work with different brands, helping them bring their fitness ideas and goals to life by either doing in person events and providing energy in that way, or being streamed on their platforms, whether it be a row machine or a treadmill or a bike, or doing strength training and other things like that. So there's different ways in which I sustain a living, but it's all fitness related and it all has to do with exercise and empowering people through that capacity. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. And that's why I selected to be an entrepreneur as opposed to working for someone, which is nothing bad with it. But I wanted to
Right.
have a little bit more autonomy with the way I did and handled my business.
Oh, absolutely. So for anyone who's like a personal trainer, in that fitness world of like, hey, I'm a small business, right? Just like you, and here's what we're doing, and we're all again trying to find and hustle different revenue streams, etc., just in general. So it's like, what was that thing? So like, how do you even get sponsorships, right?
Yeah. So I mean, there's many different ways to grow your business. There's many different ways in which to be noticed, right? And there may be a point in your life where you had that big break. For
Yeah.
some people, is I went on American Idol and then I was noticed, and next thing you know, I'm selling 10 million records, right? But
Right.
that also doesn't often happen to a lot of people as well, too. I had a big break moment, but there's also many small break moments that led me to that. And I guess let me give you some further context.
Yeah.
So when I was working in a box gym, getting started in my fitness career, working one on one with clients, I noticed that as I was leading workouts with other trainers, people were saying, "Hey, man, Gideon, you know how to kind of control a room a little bit. You're pretty good as a group fitness instructor. You should look at doing that." And that was just by me stepping out of my comfort zone and doing something different, using my sports background to just encourage just group movement and group dynamics. And that information got passed along to the group fitness manager, who said, "Hey, get it. If you're interested in teaching a class, let me know. I can find a slot with you on a schedule. We can call it Breakfast of Champions, and we can lead your workouts, at the crack of dawn and have it be sports inspired." Long story short, that happened, and I started to get in my flow, find my voice, find my energy in the group fitness dynamic. So I had a taste of something more and something better and larger and
Yeah.
something different, more importantly, as a result of me just stepping out of my comfort zone. So first things first, no matter who you are, no matter what your profession is, you got to do something different. You got to step out of your comfort zone. You have to learn more about yourself by trying something that you may not necessarily do. Like Roy, you were dealing
Oh.
with clothing, but you were also dealing in customized clothing, right? So you were
Yeah.
stepping out into a landscape that not a lot of other, clothiers would venture into, and trying to separate yourself from the pack. And you've learned, I'm sure, a wealth of knowledge in that process. I'm sure also a lot that you still use to this very day. So, at the end of the day, you got to get out there some.
Oh,
And you also,
absolutely.
Yeah, go
Absolutely.
ahead, Roy.
And no, I was just gonna say, you couldn't, guys, if you're listening, drop a like, give us a heart for that. I mean, he just dropped so much gem and knowledge right there. I mean, I couldn't have said that any better. I'm like, I'm still uncomfortable right now doing this
Yeah.
recording. You're, like I said, you're episode 005. So I'm still like, let me make sure
Right?
I'm recording this correctly. Hopefully my editor doesn't get mad. I think I'm doing an okay job. Make sure the mic's connected.
You're doing great, brother. You're doing great.
No,
And
I
even if you're
appreciate
not,
you.
and even if you're not doing great, guess what? These are moments where you learn, right?
Oh,
And when
absolutely.
you make mistakes and you learn, that's called growth. And that growth can only happen from experience. So if you don't try, you don't get experience. If you don't have experience, you can't grow.
Mm,
So what I was going back to saying is like from personal training to group fitness, there was growth in that. And then eventually people saw my growth as I was posting workouts online, as they were seeing me in action, that they would start to ask me about, hey, Gideon, how can I sign up for training with you? How can I join your classes? And these were people just in Chicago, not even people that
yes.
attended my gym. And it got to a point where my business was growing and flourishing so much that it made sense for me to start my own personal training business. And once I'd done that, I entered a competition called the Men's Health Next Top Trainer, with Men's Health being the largest men's fitness brand in the world. I won that competition. I'm condensing a long story very short, but I won that competition, and now I was a fitness consultant for the largest brand in the world. Came out with my own fitness project through that brand, and it was called Riptensity. Bodyweight workouts for men and women. They were all under 30 minutes and for all fitness levels. And then
Jeez.
from there, lots of other doors open, especially when you have the name of a backed brand and a worldwide brand to kind of to support you. So yeah, it was. You got to do something more. You got to do something different. You got to do something better, and you just got to
Right.
keep doing more of it. And you'll be surprised at the doors that open.
And now the new door open, this
Yeah.
fitness app. Tell us,
Yes.
tell me more. Like there's so many questions, but I'll give you, tell us more a little bit about it, and then I'll kind of
Yeah.
chime in as you're telling.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Well, I mean, I don't know how many entrepreneurs and how many people would feel this same experience in their industry. But as a personal trainer, oftentimes you don't own your content. Oftentimes you don't own your product. So if I was teaching classes at a gym,
Right.
at the end of the day, the gym is taking the revenue and they're cutting me some, right? They have
Right.
the facility, they have the insurance, they're bringing in the clients. So I understand that's the business dynamic. That's the way it works, right? But at the same time, too, the clients come to you because they love your energy, they love your class format, they love what you bring. And I've had the chance to work with so many brands on those large levels, whether it be streaming workouts or hosting workouts, where, and rightfully so, it's their platform. They own that content. Once my job is done, I no longer see any revenue. So if the product is still being sold, if it's still doing well, if people are still talking about it and engaging with it, as great as I may feel, it doesn't put anything in my pockets, and it
Right.
doesn't support me the way I need to be supported as just a human being living life in the world, right? So what I wanted to do is a couple of things. First, I knew that people enjoyed my workouts, enjoyed my energy and my platform, but once my contract is up with whatever company, then the workouts stop. So where do those people continue to go to find their source of inspiration? They may find somebody else. I'm
Right.
not the only trainer in the world, and there's a lot of people doing it very, very well. But if they were looking for me specifically, because we all have that voice that we respond to, whether it's
Absolutely.
mine, whether it's hers, whether it's theirs, if we have that person and we want more of that person, how can we get it? Especially if that person doesn't have their own support system and their own platform. So I decided first and foremost, I'm going to come out with my own, because I know that there's people out there that enjoy what I do and how I do it, and I can help them on their journey, not only in fitness, but just in life, through the words I say, through the affirmations I give. But at the same time, too, I also wanted to have something of my own, something that I can say that I own. It's mine. I can run it in the way that I want to, not from an ego perspective, just because I know what
Right.
gets results to the people that work with me and what I know will bring out my best to give them what they need to help them be their best. So
Oh man.
that's my goal, that's my dream, and now it's coming to a realization. And I thank God, because a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do what they love or don't have the courage to go forth and step into it with confidence. And it's certainly a blessing that I don't take for granted.
Yes, sir. What's the app called, or how did you find? Because I know that there's other apps out there that other fitness trainers use to showcase. Which ones were like kind of going through your head, and then you're like, I picked this one, and then maybe
Yeah.
like why?
So I'll tell you this, and I think everyone needs to hear this. I started my app maybe 8 years later than I should have. Because I always wanted the conditions to be perfect.
Mm,
I wanted to have my personal training business streamlined. I wanted to have the marketing and promotion materials absolutely ready and good to go before I started my app. I wanted to have a perfect fitness studio and facility and shooting schedule before I started filming. I wasted so much time and I hesitated and pump faked so many times before I actually got going into something that's very simple to do. And I put simple in air quotations because it does take some work, it does take some effort. But to be honest with you, if we break it down,
yeah.
it's me setting up a tripod, putting my phone on it, standing back a couple of feet, and exercising. In the grand scheme of things, that's all it is. But I wanted to have a perfect social media schedule and how I'm going to promote it. I wanted to
Yeah.
have background people and graphic designers with the perfect flyers out there. No, at the end of the day, jump on IG story, tell people that you're doing this, come
Yeah.
and join me, right? It's very simple to do in theory, right? It's just about getting going. And the thing is this, you'll make mistakes in the beginning, and I make tons of mistakes. I make them daily. But I know that once I make those mistakes, my goal is not to make them again, and then I continue to build from there. And the next thing you know, you have a finished and polished product that people that now come to see it, they're like, "Oh, this is good. Like this person clearly knows what they're doing. They're starting a certain way, they're ending a certain way, and everything between it is smooth and silky, right? And the promotion is there, and the consistency is there, and the schedule is there, and they answered all the questions in their FAQ because you had a chance to figure out what was working and what wasn't working. So backtracking just a little bit is like sometimes you got to start before you're ready. But let me rephrase.
Yes.
All the time you have to start before you're ready because conditions will never be perfect. I tripped over my own feet so many times just hesitating. And the time is now. It's always a great time to start. And today is a perfect day to get going. So, whatever that goal or dream is, get going. Don't waste that time. I look back and think, man, if I had done this app 2 years earlier at the height of the pandemic, right? Or
Right.
even before that, I would have had a million more subscribers, right? Or if I started 5 years before that, all right, I would have thought, man, there have been so many people who were just getting onto social media or just getting onto on-demand app platforms that
Right.
I missed out on. So, but that doesn't mean that I should stop now or I shouldn't do it because I missed the wave.
Right.
Now is still that perfect time, no
Now,
matter what the conditions are.
right. No, absolutely. And you put it in so many words. And it's just, again, going back to like just literally starting, tripping over your feet, making the mistakes, and you're going to get better
Yeah.
every single time. Guys, his muscles wasn't there. You know what I mean? He just didn't do one push up and he got there. He went through many push ups. And again,
Yes.
I'm just going back to just in general, right? Like it's the whole working out. It's just showing up every single day.
Roy, let me ask you this question, Roy. I'm
Yes,
going to
sir.
flip the script on you. I'm going to put the microphone in your face right now.
Yeah.
How many shirts have you thrown away that just didn't make the cut, that weren't
Oh,
good, that, there were snags here that didn't fit the brand? If,
dude.
if you had to put a number on it, if you possibly could, or a range, how many shirts have you thrown away in your 10 plus year career?
Hey, let's just say we have bins of shirts that we use for test prints, and guess where those shirts came from? You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's just part of the game, part of the nature of
yeah,
it, and like it's something that you can't teach your employees either, right? It's like they have to go through that mistake, and then now it's just like, hey guys, well, what can we do to fix it and adjust it?
so true,
So
so true.
it's not only just your employee, but it's also how you become a better leader. Because
Yeah.
then it's just like, well, you should do it. Like, what comes out perfect? Like, tell me something that comes out perfect every single time.
You know?
Like, nothing. There's
Yeah.
no such word, no such thing as perfection. And if you are out there, as an entrepreneur, you want things to be perfect, guys, you are working backwards. Let me
Yeah.
tell you that. You are
Right.
definitely working backwards because the market is the market is the market, and you're not
Mhm.
really the market other than what you love.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is actually going to be a 2-part series with Gideon. I hope you guys enjoy part 1. And obviously, don't forget to stay tuned for part 2, which we will be releasing on Friday.